it looks like we're going to be getting a product that is very similar to the Topps 2020 project. This product is going to be called, it looks like it's going to be called Project 70. So what that's going to be is essentially, this is Topps' 70th year as a company. So we're going to probably see a ton of stuff that has to do with it being the 70th year. But it looks like it's going to be a very similar product and release to the 2020 Topps, or the Topps 2020 project that came out last year. So if you remember, Topps 2020 project was a product that came out, I think it was every 48 hours they updated and added a new card. There was a 400 card checklist with 20 of the most iconic rookie cards, and then 20 artists came in and redesigned those rookie cards. And then, like I said, each 48 hours they released a new card. And it definitely went through its ups and downs in terms of the product and what people thought of it overall. It was something that I had been following since they announced the product. And they're doing a very similar rollout here where they are giving not much information. They're kind of just announcing the project, and you would have to assume with the artists actually being the ones kind of announcing that they're confirming they're part of it. A lot of the artists are similar, are actually the same from Project 2020. They are adding some new artists. The list you can see right here. They are going to probably be adding more after a week or two, or however they end up rolling this full thing out. But if you remember Topps 2020 project, there wasn't much information that came out at first. So I thought it was a great product. I mean, I come from a graphic design background. I love the design of cards, and if you go back to my Instagram and you go back to kind of the original post that I actually was posting on Instagram, they were basically all just reviewing card designs. This was way before I kind of had my general knowledge of the hobby, I would say. And you can even find a post where, I talked with Conrad Cards on a podcast like a couple weeks ago. I talked about how at one point in my career making content, I realized that the information I was putting out too much wrong information about the market, that I wanted to take a step back. And if you even go to those early Instagram posts, there's a post where I think it was like a Daniel Paca. Is a player for, or at least I think he's still a player for the White Sox. There was some card that I bought of his, and it ended up being the wrong card. So I even said there, I want to take a step back and learn more before I start giving more advice. Now, obviously, things have changed, and I have kept learning, and I kind of started mixing more market and investing stuff into the content. But like I said, the graphic design element of the Topps 2020 project is what intrigued me the most. Now, I did not expect that product to actually turn into kind of what it did. They ended up selling 2.4 million cards from all of the 400 cards on the checklist. Obviously, the Keith Shore Griffey was the one that really was the tipping point of this product, because what essentially happened, and I'll recap again, I guess, over the course of the cards coming out, the first probably 20 or 30. People didn't really order many of them. There was probably, some of them were below 1,000, some of them were right around 1,000, 2,000, but the print run was extremely low. And what ended up happening was that these cards ended up being very expensive. And because if you think about it this way, think about these artists. Like, these are famous artists who do art full time. And if you're buying one of their pieces, one of their prints, one of their paintings, like, you're going to be spending a lot of money. So, like, if you could get a small piece of one of these artists, like a sports card especially, I think that's kind of what drove the investors into it at first. And then, unfortunately, what ended up happening was, with this product being print on demand, essentially, they produced as many as were ordered. So once people saw that this product was going up a lot, very significantly in value, I think the cards were, if you order them in bulk, I think they were around $15. If you were only ordering one or two, I think they were about $20. But some of them were selling like in the $1,000 range. Like, I think the Ichiro, I think it was the Ben Baller Ichiro was the first card on that checklist, and that card skyrocketed. And then all of these first few cards skyrocketed in price, and then, like I said, with the print on demand, they print as many as are ordered, and kind of once you saw these prices go up, you saw the print run steadily increase as well, which, I think some people, I was confused a little bit about the product and why the investment side of the product, because to me, I definitely saw, obviously there was value in some of these first cards, but the investment on the newer cards, I don't know who or why exactly people thought it would be a good idea to like invest in the new cards that were being printed, because the concept of print on demand, like I said, it's they're printing and producing as many as are ordered, and there was no cap on what they could order. And the Griffey, the Ken Griffey Keith Shore card was around 100,000 for the order, and I think once that happened, I think that was like that's probably one of the most iconic cards of 2020, to be completely honest. With all of the cards that sold and all the high dollar cards, I think the Keith Shore Griffey card is probably one of the most iconic, and it's going to go down as one of the most famous. Now, granted, it's not very valuable. Like, you can find them probably for pretty inexpensive on eBay, but I think that led to some of the other products kind of increasing. A lot of the Trout cards. So I think Trout and Jeter were the top two artists or top two players across the board when it came to how many cards of theirs were ordered. So it was Mike Trout was number one, Derek Jeter was number two, and I think what ended up happening was we saw a pretty steady increase in these prices that led to the Keith Shore, and then after that we kind of continue to see some decreases with some of the cards going up in print run. But that Keith Shore Griffey, I think I don't know if the percentage of people that lost money on that specific card really drove people away from buying it, but it was unfortunate that that's kind of what it led to. But I think it was a misunderstanding of what the actual product was. Like, I think there was a ton of people who were getting into sports cards, and print on demand isn't like it's a concept that is pretty common in sports cards, but if you're not following sports cards very often and you didn't know about this product before, I could see how, you look at the cards being $1,000 and you can buy them for $15. I could see how that would be something where someone was like, wow, this is such a no-brainer. I'm just going to buy as many cards as I can. And, they may not understand that, like, the print on demand, there is no cap. There's no way they can really stop the print run. So, some people probably bought a lot of those Griffey cards. Some people probably bought, like, I know there was a Mike Trout that was in, I'm pretty sure it was the Tyson Beck Mike Trout was in, like, the 70,000 range. There was a ton of cards that were over 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. That Griffey Shore was not really even an outlier, because we saw the kind of increase in the popularity of that set. And from a design perspective, I liked it. And I think what ends up happening with that concept and with that set specifically is that it's going to make Topps probably do more of these products. So, like, with the Project 70, I think it's going to be very similar to Project 2020, because, like I said, they sold 2.4 million cards total. Now, sure, you could maybe say, well, the Griffey, there was 400 cards, and the Griffey there was 100,000. But, like, even if you take out the 100,000 of the Griffey, like, they still sold 2.3 million cards from the other 399 cards. So yeah, sure, the Griffey, there was a pretty high percentage there, but overall, I don't think, like, I don't necessarily. I think the product itself was a success from a business standpoint for Topps, and I think it was a success because they got influencers and artists to come in and make these cards and promote them on their Twitter, their Instagram, all over their websites. And that's a success for me, because I think what that's doing is it's introducing sports cards to a new genre or new demographic of people who maybe they don't know about sports cards, but they like this artist. If you're a Tyson Beck fan, you probably like sports cards because he's a sports designer and probably one of the biggest sports designers in the business right now. But, like, if you are a Keith Shore fan, you probably don't really know about sports cards that much other than this product. I do also think that bringing these artists in, like, I think that's one of the biggest successes of this product, of the product's release, because I think that's also going to bring more artists that weren't in this that are in this Project 70, and I think it's going to help Topps grow as a brand, which, like, if I'm Topps, like, that's definitely what I want to do. And I'm interested to see if maybe they potentially do any soccer type of cards with this, because I think that would be pretty cool. So, like I said, there's probably going to be more artists released. I'm hoping there is, at least. Two good accounts if you want to follow some of this information. So Twitter, if you follow Project 2020 Info, they've actually switched over, because I think now that this product is looking like it's going to be very similar to the Project 2020. They're kind of switching over their creative. And they have a ton of great info there. Or if you want to go to Instagram, they're posting a lot of the artists who are confirming that they're in this product. So you're going to go to tops.project70 on Instagram. That's a great account that I've been following for good info. I'll make sure to put those two tags in the description as well. Or if you're listening on the podcast, just make sure that you go to those two accounts. So just, kind of wrapping things up here. There's no confirmed release date for this yet. There actually isn't even any confirmed details of it. But like I said, I think this product is going to be very similar to Project 2020. From what I've seen, it looks like there isn't going to be a set checklist with 20 of the most iconic cards, 20 of the most iconic, or 20 artists. I think it's going to be more like a freelance type of project with these artists. Like I said, there's no release date. That's kind of just some of the info that I've seen that maybe I'm making a prediction there. But it's going to be a super cool product. I'm excited for more info to come out about it.